Welcome to the Conversation Global Network family. Welcome where all your possibilities are endless. Welcome to the world's center stage of the Conversation Motivational Hour, the Conversation Motivational Date Night, the Conversation Motivational Small Business Community, the Conversation Small Merchandise Craving. Welcome to the Conversation Zero to Hero TV family, our tribe, our community, and our village. Our love language is value. Our mantra is value. Come on to the world center stage of the Conversation Global Network family.
Welcome to the conversation where words have power to unite us all. Are you passionate about literature? Do you find solace and inspiration within the pages of a book? Then we invite you to join our global community of readers in our Conversation Book Club. Whether you're in Guyana or anywhere else in the world, our book club offers a space of meaningful dialogue, discovery, and connection. Together, we explore the depths of storytelling, share insight, and celebrate the beauty of diverse perspectives. Led by Pastor Seon Rodney and Pastor J.D. Prasad, our book club fosters an environment of respect, empathy, and understanding. They invite you to join them on this enriching journey. To become a part of our vibrant community, simply reach out to Pastor Seon Rodney at 678-770-0430 or Pastor J.D. Prasad at 592-662-9844. Let's embark on a shared adventure through the world of literature, because in the Conversation Book Club, every voice matters.
The Conversation Motivational Hour with your host, Minister Seon Rodney. The Conversation. Thank you for watching the Conversation Motivational Hour. We love you and cannot wait to see you in person.
Join the Caribbean Gospel Jam family today and experience the incredible music, uplifting talk shows, and powerful ministries. Advertise with us or bring your show and ministry to our platform. Let's spread the joy of gospel music together. Caribbean Gospel Jam Radio. Contact our sales department at sales@caribbeangospeljam.com or call us at 404-692-2284 or email info@caribbeangospeljam.com. and log on to our website www.caribbeangospeljam.com.
Once again, welcome to our Conversation Motivational Hour. Welcome to our tribe, welcome to our village, and welcome to our community. You're onto the trusted platform, CGN Family, the Caribbean Broadcasting Network, the Conversation Broadcasting Network. We are only evolving. We are matriculating to be the best that we can be, where we help people to find their sweet spot, gain their momentum. What is our love language? I'm glad someone may ask. It's simply value. What is our mantra? I'm glad someone may ask. It's simply value. We believe in the reciprocal nature of value. Where we value, we come with the nuggets. We bring the presenters on. We bring people onto the platform that can help you to garner some experiences. You can change courses in life. You can be at the best that you can be. We value you. How you value us is just doing the simple pleasantry. And that is to share this podcast. Your boo, your darling, your sweetheart, your husband, your wife, your friend, your co-worker, and even your frenemies. What a pleasantry for you to do. With that being said, I have with me no other than Miss Peggy Dickinson, and our beautiful, amazing daughter, who have her hands on the social media pulse, where they're both tap teaming in the financial sphere of life, helping us how we can be financially viable, financially be sustainable, and have financial integrity. Yes, I say financial integrity. Many people may not understand that financially is a part of your social being, that you can socialize 10 toes down. How do you feel that way? When you have an opportunity and it cannot be presented because you're in a financial dilemma. Who can present it to you than Miss Peggy and her beautiful and amazing daughter? Financial integrity is a must. A learned behavior and inculcate pattern. We always, oftentimes, before I hand over to my host, the co-host tonight, think that Miss Peggy, it's a trending thought, which it calculate to be a part of the norm of families, which I have divorced myself from a few years now. It being said this way, I know you're going to tell if you ever learned of that, that January, the calendar month, is the hardest month of the year.
Hmm.
I used to believe it for most of my life. I preached as a pastor and as a minister for most of my life. And I had to come to the repentance and first to apologize to those who listened to the sermon I preached. That it came under a lack of understanding. What is the new trending thought? And I'm glad you were here tonight. And through your presentation, you're going to redirect people to have a different lexicon to the month of January. Why I believe I had to change courses? Because December is the month people splurge their finances. December is the month they try to impress their neighbors and their friends and their co-worker. December is the month they go on a shopping spree. So therefore, January is the month where opportunity is presented himself. And therefore, you don't have what it takes to lay hold on the opportunity because you already spurge the fruit and you also ate the seed. So tonight, who else can help us to understand that January is not the month that is deemed to be the hardest. It's the month of opportunity. It's the month where you are most privileged to get the spoils that those cannot keep. They are coming to you for you to lay hold on. You're going to have some houses. You don't have the opportunity that you could have once had in January. You will have some bargains that you once cannot have. It's presented in January. Therefore, keep your seed that you could always have to plant in the month of January. With that being said, I have my co-host no other and her beautiful and amazing daughter, Miss Peggy. Let's get into the minutia of the financial sphere of life. Miss Peggy, once again, thank you for taking time off of your busy schedule. I know you could have been doing so much greater things in better place, also in this Christmas season, but you choose to embrace the Conversation Broadcasting Network platform and all of the affiliates tonight with your greatest expertise that you can bring to us that is in the aspect of finance. I like money.
Me too.
Because money has a voice. Money has privilege. Money brings you into seats that you will not ordinarily have without money. Money brings you comfort. Money brings you stability. Money brings you smiles. Outside of money, you have depression, you have anxiety, you have fear, and you lost faith and employ fear. So all that I can have is Miss Peggy. Miss Peggy, can you share a bit about your personal financial journey and what inspired you to help others achieve their financial literacy?
Thank you for having us, Pastor Seon. My financial journey is interesting because I didn't have a financial foundation. I was raised in a middle income family, and my parents did all right for themselves, but they were basically, my mom was a nurse and my father worked in the hospital as a security guard from the Virgin Islands, from St. Kitts. So I'm first generation, born and raised here. And so they had a very different philosophy on finances than what I was learning about as I got into college and started creating credit card debt and buying a car and having an apartment. And I found myself quickly living paycheck to paycheck. And I didn't understand certain principles of saving. And so I had actually learned the hard way by creating some bad habits and some bad situations that I had to dig myself out of, to say to myself, there's got to be something better, because I didn't understand how I could be working so hard, have more than one job, and still be living paycheck to paycheck and still not saving. So I sought some guidance, right? So the financial journey that brought me here was just basically to to help people not to make the same mistakes that I made, right? Not to devalue my credit. I didn't think credit was going to be what it is today. Way back when, it wasn't used for everything it's used today. There was like, oh, if you pay your bill late, it's going to ruin your credit. I'm like, who cares? What do I need credit for? Little did I know, now you need credit for apartment, you need credit for a job, you need credit for everything, right? So I devalue my credit. Also, I didn't understand that you could save your money in certain vehicles where you can get interest. You put your money in the bank. I was getting fees taken out of my bank account for banking with them. I said, I don't like these fees. I'm taking my money out of the bank. But I didn't understand that there were certain accounts that would pay you interest and that you can grow your money. So all of these things through trial and error and learning the hard way, when I finally got the opportunity to really study under some good counsel and some good guidance about money. Now, number one, of course, the Bible. When I was almost done with college and I got saved and I started with ministry and I learned about the principle of tithing, that was my first turnaround, that I started tithing and trusting the word and said, trust and see that you're going to be blessed when you tithe. And when I started tithing, my needs were always met. So I may not have been growing my money, but I was always meeting my needs because I was tithing. So that was my first principle that started to turn it around. And then I was fortunate to become a licensed financial advisor and start communicating and learning from people who knew things about stocks and bonds and mutual funds and better strategies and how to get ahead in life. So that's pretty much my financial journey. I left out probably a lot of things that we can probably come around to again on another question.
But I love what you say about the principle. Everything in life rests upon the principles of life. Mm-hmm. And we're in such a crucial time in the closing of days where tithing has been discussed in various spheres of understanding. First, it being perpetuated like as a law, and it being negated as a law that you're not obligated because the Old Testament is concealed where the New Testament is being revealed. So in the revelation of the New Testament, you would not find the must do in the law factor of tithing. But I'm glad where you lay it so skillfully about the principle, because principle doesn't change. Laws can change, but principles will never change. And that's why I held on to even this time in the principles, not of tithing as a law, but tithing is a principle for me, that as I tithe, God have no other obligation than to keep his word, that there is a principle for the sower and the reaper. I didn't say the law. So if you hold on to the Old Testament of the law in Malachi 3:10, you are still holding on to the law. I'm dealing with the principle because I just ate some food earlier, but that food come from someone sow and then someone reap. So this is principle. So I held on to the principle and not the law. So I'm glad you skillfully in your financial literacy journey about the principle of tithing. Over to, what's the name of your daughter again? Sorry.
Theo.
Theo?
Yes, Theo.
Theo, can you tell us about your financial journey, your financial journey, because our journey financially is different. Let's hear about yours.
So my financial journey, being that I'm a little bit younger, is kind of just starting, but I feel super blessed to have the circle that I do and the mother that I do that introduced me to so many people, so that I'm the type of person that if I can learn from a mistake, I will do that. So being that we're in the financial realm, I see people and their mistakes and the common things that people do, and I try to avoid those common mistakes. I try to engulf myself in financial literacy so that way, as I grow my journey, it can be a fruitful one.
So I can jaywalk into your future. That you will get into spare that we would never even been in at the age that afforded before you allot yourself to our age. And that is very good that you give yourself to learning, as you said, and you're preparing for what will open, not the windows, we had windows, right? But a portal of heaven, because God gave gift according to your ability. And as your ability opening, because you're opening the floodgates to financial life, you should not be broke not a day in your life. I'm very serious in what I'm saying. You see, sometimes people store information. But what will you do with the information that are stored? It's just information. Information that being implementation, you will have a transformation. So what I'm saying is no way you should held yourself to the same standard as your peers, because now you are a superseder. What would I say to you now from hereafter? You should be a self-starter. Start going ahead to places that now no longer a foothold, but you are preparing for your world center stage, because now you're garnering what you're learning from your mother. With that being said, let's get into more discussion tonight. Financial literacy is such an important topic today. It's very important because some people are very much financially embarrassed. And then when you're financially embarrassed, they go into what we call shaming, financial shame. And because people are shamed financially, they get into what we call financially blaming. So tonight I want you to deal with the financial literacy, how it is important, how financial literacy is important, because the opposite to literacy is illiterate. And a person who is illiterate is a person who is ill-informed, a person who do not know. Even though you have some people that they know they do not know and try to be like they know. That's a different story. But the opposite to illiteracy is literacy, because many times as Christians, I'm not that old, by the way. I'm very much young, but because I've been around the whole mothers of the church, I get some of the old mother theology. You know, Grandmother chapter 1, verse 1. And then they said that God do not want you to really be rich. And they quote the scripture, it's easy for a rich man to go through the eye of a needle. You see what I'm saying? You know, and a poor man get into heaven. So we hold on to the scripture saying that God really take delight in the poor. That is not true. The word of God said, money, mullah, dinero, in God we trust, answer all things. So help us how we can change our modus operandi, how we can change our thinking processes, our thinking pattern, and we can end up on the different sides making history from tonight. That we don't have to continue walking illiterate and walking with financial shame. How can we move from paycheck to paycheck and start having some investment? How can we start living not generational wealth, generational legacy? There's a difference with generational wealth and generational legacy. Help us tonight.
Okay, well, you said a lot, Pastor, but I wanna hold on to one of the things you said about people thinking that it's so godly to be poor, right? The Bible did say the poor will be with us always, but the word talks more about money and finances than anything else. And I did one of my wealth, faith, and finance workshops, and I said that. And one of the women, she even looked it up. She was like, "Oh my gosh, she's right." The Bible, it says that God is the richest, right? He is in heaven. The streets are paved with gold, and everything we ask for, we can have. So there should be no shame in money, right? And having money and being financially literate. There should be no financial shaming. All right. All there is like you said, illiteracy, or maybe sometimes ignorancy. Like what I was doing was walking the wrong path. So what are some of the things that could really make a difference, in your financial life to bring you financial peace? The first thing is not what you make, it's what you keep. When we are living above our means, right? That is the cause of a lot of unhappiness and grief. So, true story, when I was young, getting into college, I wanted a car. I purchased a car. It wasn't a very expensive car, but I didn't calculate the cost. I just calculated enough to pay the car note and to pay the insurance. So I created a situation. I needed gas. I needed, parking tickets, maintenance, speeding tickets, like all these other things all of a sudden started happening. And then what? I didn't have enough money. So when I talk to young folks today, I'm like, listen, you want a car. It's not just a car. You got to calculate all the costs. Same thing with a house. I can't tell you how many people that help save to a house. They buy the house. And then all of a sudden now all their finances in a wreck. They need furniture. They need this. They need that. They have all these other expenses they didn't anticipate. So it's all about first taking inventory of where you are. Mm-hmm. And then also weighing the cost, right? It's not just the house. It's not just the car, right? You got to think about all the things that come with it and make sure it fits in your budget, right? So maybe you need a smaller house because the bigger house is not in your budget because you don't want to go over your means. You maybe don't need the Mercedes-Benz right now. Maybe you need just something more reliable, the Toyota or the Honda, because something else, if it breaks down, now you don't have enough money to repair it. So everybody well, not everybody, but a lot of people find themselves in those situations because they're not weighing the proper cost. And then here's the other thing. You make $90,000, $100,000. As an employee, you're only bringing home $70,000, but you think I make $100,000. So you spend like $100,000, but you're really only bringing home $70,000. So now we have credit card debt because that $30,000 of credit card debt, what is the $100,000 you thought you was making? So that's the other thing, right? Taking inventory of where you are. All right. You got to be honest with yourself. Sometimes you're not going to like it, but then you have a choice. What you can do is you can say, well, I can bring my goals down to my income, or I can bring my income up to my goals, right? That's your choice. But you cannot pretend that you can spend $100,000 and you're only bringing home 70. So those are some of the things that's really going to help. So it's not what you make, it's what you keep. Then what you do with what you keep. Okay, where are you putting your money? See, most people have their money in the bank. Where do you bank? I don't care if you bank Chase, Bank of America, whatever it's called, Federal Credit Union. All those banks have very low rates of return if you get a rate of return. So if you're saving for a long-term goal, but you have your money in the bank, and you're getting less than 1% or less than 2%, well, you're going to take a very long time to get to your goal, right? So now we have to start to think, where do we put our money? So something that you can look up is something that I do teach, and I would love to give your listeners a free copy of something called How Money Works. And in there's something called the Rule of 72. You could Google it, but it's in the How Money Works. And it explains the Rule of 72 just basically says, how long does it take your money to double at a certain interest rate? Right. And so you need to be having on average at least 5% or more just to keep up with inflation or outpace inflation. Because we know that our dollar is worth less every single year. The price of everything goes up. That's the thing that I'm hearing everybody come. Gas is up, cost of food is up, but your dollar is still the same this year as it was last year. So now it takes more dollars to buy the same goods and services. So if you don't have your money working hard for you, like you work hard for it, you're never going to be able to catch up and outpace inflation and actually save where you're getting the benefit of seeing your money grow, right? So if it's in the bank and you have 30,000 in the bank today, next year is going to be 30,030. It's not really exciting, right? So we got to get it where it's going to be next year, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, right? And that comes from learning about other types of investment vehicles. So the Rule of 72 is something for you to Google. Also, 3 accounts everybody needs. Okay. So you have Actually, my daughter taught one. She said 4 accounts. I'm going to use yours. She said 4 accounts. Spending account, right, where you pay your bills out. Then you have emergency fund. That should be 1 to 3 months of savings. Then you have your short-term goal fund. That should be 6 to 12 months savings. That could be in case you get laid off from work, or you're saving for a house or something like that. Because when these times come, and they're going to come, right, you don't want to have to be going to credit card or go into debt with credit card or GoFundMe, payday loan, and all of these things cause more financial strain, right? More financial problems. So you got to start saving a little bit at a time now before the tragedy happens, right? Before the car breaks down, before you need to replace your refrigerator. Put some money aside. That's money's there in case I need to fix my car. That money is there in case I need a refrigerator, or in case I need to move, in case I get laid off from my job. I know I have at least 6 months to a year worth of income that I can use, and I can have financial peace. And then the account that I love the most, the one that makes me most excited, is the retirement account. Because those are the accounts where the federal government says you can put money away and have it tax defer, right? You don't even have to pay taxes on it now. In some instances, it could lower your taxable income. And in other instances, it could be tax-free when you're ready to retire. Those are the ones that make you see, I'm excited. You see my eyes dancing. I like, tax-free money, right? So those are the 4 accounts, right? Everyone should have. And so it doesn't matter how little you think you make, you can start separating into those buckets and start moving towards your financial peace.
Grammar chapter 1, verse 1. Grammar chapter 1, verse 1 says, you got to keep up with the Joneses. I know we from different upbringing in terms of societal understanding and societal genre, because you're American, I'm Guyanese, and I love lucky to travel around different spheres. So I more can relate to the grammar of the Guyana genre, where you have the grammar of the American genre. And because the grammar about chapter 1, verse 1 said, keep up with the Joneses, is that people do not prioritize on their needs and their wants. Sometimes they don't know when to really put their needs in front of their wants, and when their wants in front of their needs. Then the keeping up with the Joneses is a saying that once my neighbor is doing, I have to compete. What my best friend is doing, I have to compete. I got to show that I am there. You see? The Intercessor chapter 1, verse 1, going to tell you, see yourself there. So you have to dress for that expectation. Prepare for that expectation while you're not there. I want to negate that it's a change mindset to get you there. But you have to get the finance for when the opportunity prepare for you there. Because when they're telling you prepare to be there, they tell you, I got to get the brand name. I got to show people that I'm ready there for the Fortune 500. But when the opportunity presents itself, now you have to look for a loan. Nobody want to give you because you don't have a credit score. You want to borrow from somebody, they think like, present to me the reason why I should be a lender to you. Because you into the anointed intercessor tell you that you need to see yourself there before you're not prepared, act like you're there. When God gave us this wisdom, money have emotion. People don't know that. Money has feelings. Money has an ear. Money hears. Money cries. How you deal with money tell you if you're going to go and bring company. Oh, God. I feel like preaching. Anyway,
I can tell.
Preach.
Money brings company. So I want you to get, and I want to hear your daughter first on this, then I'm going to come back to you. How crucial it is to teach young people at an early age. Because the word of God said, train up a child in the fear of the Lord. When they grow old, they would not depart. But there is a backside to that, because the scripture is the front side. Whenever there's a front side, there's always a backside. The backside is more crucial because the front side is always maintained. Because the front side is that I am a son to my father. That will maintain, that will not change. The backside, I will become a father. So the front side, God said, train up a child in the fear of the Lord. When they grow old, will not depart. Good. The backside is that they will come. But when they come, they have lost their youth. They're coming back. They live long enough, they come back to the Lord. Thank God they come a lot of experience, but the eye can't see properly. They can't hold the Bible properly and all, because they come back, but they have lost their youthful part. So the front side is good. The back side is critical. So we able now to be the catch pan, and I love you get training your daughter. Now she is your mentee, and it's going to be the flip side that she's going to be a mentor and have other young people as her mentee. At the back side, then the psychologist is going to tell you the first 7 years of a child is the crucial time of that child's life. That lasts them from the longevity of their life what they're exposed to. Tell us now from your daughter first, relating tonight to our age category grouping. Why is it important for you to teach the younger about financial literacy?
So like you said, at the age of 7 is really when kids start to soak up that information. And kids are like a sponge. So the same way, like I said, I was able to, because I was blessed to have the mother and the support system that I have, go to these programs and be around these circles, I was able to soak up all that knowledge. But also people that don't have that type of circle, they're soaking up things too, but it's the unhealthy habits. It's the debt. It's the fear. You could literally soak up fear from your parents, and then you are having a cycle of financial hardship that you shouldn't have. So I feel like it's important that if you set up the ground running, a lot of times we go into ages of 18. By 18, our foundation is pretty much set. You know, you're changing, but from a 7 to 18, you're kind of setting your ways. So once you get to 18, you have to find yourself playing catch up, because you've already kind of made the mistakes, or at least your brain is already in the place where it thinks it knows what it's doing. So now you have to go out, you have to hurt yourself, fall on your butt a couple of times, and then rewire your brain. So now, like, once you have to rewire your brain, then that's when kind of people make the shift. But instead of having to fall on your face or on your butt and rewire, how about we start off and hit the ground running? Have that foundation, have those principles already instilled in you, so you know the power of compound interest. You know, I'm not going to save all my money in a bank because they have low interest rates. I know where to put my money. You know about the power of entrepreneurship, how to flip your talents into skills that can, you know, feed a nation and just be more fruitful. So I want to be able to pour that into my community. So that way, like you said, legacy. We are all brothers and sisters. I want us to have these conversations in our community, not just in my household, but in all of our households, so that we can buy the blocks back together, you know?
I love what you say, and that really put a check mark in my spirit. When you said about rewiring your brain and so on, and you major on 18 when you're already set in your ways. What stood out to me at that juncture there is at 18 you already develop what we call dull hearing. And it's hard to break down that wall at 18 because this is me, this is what I was taught, and I'm going for the long haul, and only Jesus have to come down and change me.
Right.
Right? Jesus ain't coming down and change nobody, because man is given the freedom of choice. The front end is his word. And how can a man change his ways unless he take it to the word of God? So that's the front end. But what he don't read? The most places I was talking to a co-worker this week, you find Bibles in a hotel. Every hotel you get a Bible. But who reads a Bible in a hotel?
Right.
Because I'm a pastor, I don't read a Bible. I don't read my Bible in a hotel, but every hotel I have a Bible. and it's there where you could see. So this is the only how you can change your ways to deal with financial literacy. But they develop dull hearing, they're set in their ways. Daddy chapter 1 verse 1, mommy chapter 1 verse 1, big brother chapter 1 verse 1, my family chapter 1 verse 1, because our family cycle, our family pattern. So they develop dull hearing. And that's why sometimes you go into seminars, you go into conferences, and you can give all the financial presentation and nobody leave to change courses. I was in a high profile business platform that presented to me this week, and something shocked my mindset. Before I hand over to your mother, the presenter says, everybody says they will live in a nice neighborhood because it got amenities, laundromat, it has a Waffle House, and it has a couple fine things, and you feel nice. But really, you're losing opportunity, because in such an opportunity neighborhood, your credit score struggle to grow. Because the financial opportunity is coming to the neighborhood based upon how the environment sees the financial environment, the financial opportunities that are presenting, looking at where they can present less to get less. Mm-hmm. So you were there, you're struggling with your credit score, and then you start developing a mindset to your environment. So to move away from that dull hearing, you have to develop an appetite for inculcate change. So Miss Peggy, now you being the greatest mentor, and I can see her doing an excellent job. And I can see when she become a mentor, she gonna be more skillfully superseding you. And it's great. Because let's do Abraham for a minute. We preached about Abraham and his son, when his only son and so on. And he said the Lord will provide himself a sacrifice. Even though the guy was tied up to be the sacrifice, he superseded Abraham because he saw. So tell us how you see impactful to catch the young minds, to help them to understand the importance of being financially viable, financially free, and financially literate. Not generational wealth now, but generational legacy. Miss Peggy.
So the youth really is important to reach them when they're young, because when they're young is when you have ambition, is when you thinking life hasn't beaten you up yet. So you really do believe you can do anything and be anything, right? It's the young ones. They're there and they're going to pour their heart into whatever that thing is they think they want to do, whether it's play sports or music, and they are hungry for information and hungry for talent. So we have to make sure that the information that they're getting is good information. When I was younger, I used to subscribe to certain direct marketing type of companies, and they were very big on, you have to dream big. So the power, there's a few of these books.
Power of Thinking Big.
The Power of Thinking. No, it's The Magic of Thinking Big. The Power of Positive Thinking. Right. I read all those books when I was in college, in high school and college, because I was hungry for information, and they were great books. But you know what? Always fail. You have the big dream, but then you don't have anywhere to go to actually implement a plan. And as you said, in the communities, that certain communities, whether it's bank, check cashing, whatever it is, certain they prey on you and your lack of knowledge. Yep. So you walk into that environment, even it could be the bank, and they see you coming and they say, oh, well, this one, they don't know the value of money. So I'm going to put her over here in this very low interest rate because she don't know to ask about this other account where she can get more interest rate. See, so the knowledge has to come, right? You have to walk in there knowing already what you want so that they don't lead you where they want you to go. Because it's just like you said, they see you coming and they already assess what they want you to have. Oh, she doesn't know the value, so I'm gonna upsell her this or that. And so before you know it, you're going down a different road, right? And your credit is affected and you're not getting the interest you want. So when you're young, that's so important to be mindset, like you said, to have that mindset, not just to dream big, not just to think big, not just to use your talents, but also to get financially literate. Because many people start making money. My first job was at 14. Many people start making money when they're still in school, high school. They're working, they're making money, but what are they doing with that money? If they're not investing it, if they're not putting it in some sort of account where it's going to grow, they're missing out on opportunity. And if they only knew that, just like they're investing their time into learning about their sports and their music and their art and all of these different things, if they just invest a little bit of money into certain accounts, that money in 10 years time, 20 years time will be tenfold for them. And then they would have that seed that you were talking about, right? To go out there and start something, right? To start something big. You need that seed. And it starts when you're young. And children that are young too, they get money from grandma. You're talking about grandma 101, grandma 101. Here, let me slip you some money. Here's a little money. Here's a little money, right? Grandma's always slipping you a little money. But what do you do with that money? Go out and buy candy? Go out and buy what with it? Where you could be putting that in an account and that money could be growing. So it's not only just educating the children, but the whole family needs education. I have a client, she's a grandma. She opened up an account for each one of her grandkids. As soon as the grandkid is born, she calls me. I want to open up an account. My son just had another baby, and she puts money in there. She puts it there for birthday, for Christmas. And so that child, when they become 18, they're going to wake up and have, oh, wow, grandma gave me $30,000, $40,000. But she started what? When the child was young, just putting a couple $100, a couple times a year.
And I love what you say about big vision. Many people have vision parties. Nothing wrong with that. It's great to have a vision party, and all these kind of stuff. But after the vision party, I come with my great vision, big vision, articulate the vision, all of that. But do I think, or do we think of having another way alongside the vision party? How are you going to get this vision done? Many years ago, there was a runner show. Likened to the same vision party stuff, in a form of a question. What is the last thing you do before you go to bed? And everybody had a different question, different answers. Not knowing that the simple answer is, the last thing you do before you get to bed is get off the floor. So when you have this big vision, how are you going to get this vision executed? So we have next to our this big vision board. I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be under a Fortune 500 company. I'm going to be a CEO. But it's great. You could see it. You could pray about it and so on. But God is looking for you to make some moves.
Right.
You see, so sometimes we quote the scriptures, but the scriptures itself is waiting for the man with the feet to make the words walk. You see, the words is, if you put the Bible into the fire, it's going to burn. But when we talk about the Bible become a living epistle, it's because it's on legs. Right? So when God said the wicked going to come and bring the wealth, it's not about the lottery. Is I'm presenting how I'm going to get my vision to the wicked. And the wicked going to pour into my vision. And that's why you guys are here to help us. Because money stored properly brings what God has for us. We sit down and we pray, the heart is the Lord and the fullness of the, and every sentence we speak in tongues and so on. No problem with tongues. I'm bringing a content to context. But then how is the thing going in the legs? That God said the beast of the field, 1,000 cattle for the hill belongs to us. We have to present that this beast coming to us. We got to present that we can manage the cattle upon the hill, and then we can testify of God's goodness. Quickly, Mom, when Abraham's wife died, the man said, look, I'm going to give you a plot of land for you to bury your wife. Who would love an opportunity like that? But Abraham refused the opportunity because one, he was already wealthy, he was rich, and because he understand God's wealth on legs. Then from word, from mouth to leg, he say, hey, what happened? You wouldn't say that you make me rich. But it was just a part of land. You see our mindset. So tonight, Miss Peggy, Mama wants us to deal with what about the adults tonight? To make big and meaningful financial investment, because we know what an adult, we have made a lot of financial mistakes. And I love you said the same thing, and your daughter said the same thing about little investment the bank give you, right? But I put it this way. You save your money, you get cents profit. You invest the money, you get dollars profit. I think I want dollars over cents. So help us change course tonight and how we can start baby steps to those who have not started stepping yet, still on pacifier, to throw away the financial pacifier in the garbage can and start getting now to look for some curry goat financially. Meat.
All right.
Oh my God.
I like that.
So, adults, as my daughter said, we got to rewire our brain because we may have picked up some bad habits along the way. So step number one, you got to make a decision. How many people I meet with, they're interested. They want the information. But when it comes time to pull the trigger, they got to think about it. It's not the right time. Oh, I got my birthday coming up, or this coming up. Let me get back to you. See, you got to rewire your brain. This is more important than the birthday because there's going to be more birthdays after this birthday. This is more important than the trip or whatever you got going on because you want more trips after this trip. So you got to start today. It starts now, right? Doesn't matter what you start with, you got to start. And it comes with a decision. It comes with a mindset that, okay, I'm going to make this sacrifice, just like tithing. Comes with a decision, comes with a mindset. I'm going to believe God and I'm going to put that 10%, right? Now you got to believe God and put another 10% in that investment account. And then trust that he's going to provide all the rest. Because like I said, he will send it some other way. So I have a lot of faith in there too, but the biggest thing is adults, you got to start now. Think about what you would tell your children, right? If they had a report due or if they had something they needed to do, you want them to do it now. Don't put it off, right? Do it now, right? It's going to pay off in the end. Same thing with you starting your financial future, with you starting, we call it the financial house, right? You got to build your financial house. Investing is one part of it. There's other financial things that we got to get savvy at. But if there's one thing I got to choose, is putting a little money aside every week or every pay period and investing that in yourself, in your future. Now, I'm going to tell on myself. I sometimes share this story. I heard long time ago, probably when I was my daughter's age or a little bit younger, I heard somewhere, someone said, you got to pay yourself like a paycheck. Right? You pay yourself first. That was it. Pay yourself first. But because I didn't have a good foundation, I didn't understand what they meant. So I heard, pay myself first. I heard, buy what I want for myself first before I pay my rent and my this and my that. I'm going to put some aside, but I wasn't putting it away for myself. I was spending it on myself. That's not what that means. Pay yourself first means you got to invest in yourself. Many people invest in their education, and there's nothing wrong with that, except that if you're investing with your education with someone else's money, i.e. loans, you come to find out when you get that education, now you're even further behind because now you got this big debt you're trying to pay off. So that's a whole other story. I'm not going to, downplay that, but you need to seek help with that too, because investing in yourself doesn't have to mean going into debt, especially today when everything is on the internet. So investing in yourself, yes, spiritually, reading books, some good books for financial peace. There's a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's a great book to learn about, making some changes financially. There's another great book. I love it, love it, love it. It's called The Wealth. Oh, I'm going to forget it.
Choice.
The Wealth Choice. Thank you. The Wealth Choice by Kimbro. Love it, love it, love it. These are some books you can read to start to rewire your brain, and how you think about money and how you think about opportunity.
So let's have a little fun. I'm going to throw some popular financial math at you, and you will tell us whether they are true or false and why. It's good to have a trivia moment, because God had a trivia moment, whether we like it or not. He said to his disciples, let me trivialize you guys a little bit, see where you guys really at. Who do you say I am? You know what I mean? And sometimes you have to test your environment, because some people, they'll be lauded by just being the acronym of being a giver. Sometimes you have to test your environment to say no, to see how lockarms they're really with you, because that's another financial part of your financial presentation, because being a giver makes people not able to find a pathway. They try to be a taker than rather try to flip the script from being a taker to be a giver. And that's why we always see God as being the giver, and we're not able to give anything. So we approach in the presence of God, we all in axi, want, we like a siren in God's presence. I want. We don't give nothing. You want to know some people, just ask them to be your prayer partner. And you would be like, it's what's going on. Every time we pray, this I want. There's nobody giving anything. So, and then you find they keep wanting, and God is not giving after time, because God is saying, I'm not your pacifier. I am not your sugar daddy. Yes, I'm not only in trouble, you come to me. I want that. The word of God said, I create you from a pleasure. What is pleasure? I mean, not for your daughter, but you being an adult. You know what is pleasure being? Walking in your femininity and your wifelyhood and so on. There's a different level of pleasure in the glitters in your eyes and the lights and that door closed and so on. And that is the same thing God is looking from us. But we always want. And therefore, God say, now what? It's not everything that you ask I can give you. You know what I mean? I'm going to give you according to my desire for you. So tonight we're going to do some trivia. I am on track to retire because I have a 401k. True or false?
That's for me.
Yeah.
So
I guess it depends.
So many people think that just because they have an account, a 401k, an IRA, that they're going to be fine when it comes time. But here's the trick. What is your financial independence number? And are you going to have enough money in there by the time you reach retirement age to last you? So just because you have a 401k, number one, it depends on how is your portfolio. Some people are invested way too conservatively and they have a long time to go. Some people are invested way too aggressively and they have a short time to go. And some people are just not putting enough money in it, point blank. So no, you're not all set. You need to know your financial independence number.
Right.
You mind answer me for your peers?
So retirement is not an age, although they like to tell us like when you become 65, you can retire, get a job, retire. You can retire I know people this day and age, social media has opened up your eyes. I know people retiring in the ages of 20. So it's more so about knowing that number and then planning out, can you sustain it? So once you have that seed money or that number, then making it last, putting it in the vehicles that can sustain that wealth, whether it be investments, annuities, whatever you may have.
So that comes me to making smart choices.
Smart money moves.
What you're talking about, money matters to the young while they're yet young, while they're not dull in hearing, so they can retire younger than us, so they can able to make smart choices. Second question, I have insurance through work, so I'm all set. Who want to go ahead first?
Well, the simple answer is no. While it's good to have insurance, if your job is going to give you insurance for free or for a little bit of money, take it. Coverage is a little bit of coverage is better than no coverage, I tell people, but it's about, can you control it? So a lot of people don't know, when it comes to job insurance, if you were to get fired, if you were to, God forbid, have a health scare or cancer or something like that, and you can't report to work, you might get kicked off of that policy. If you're not employed by the company, you no longer have insurance. Let's say you were to get sick, now you also can't qualify for insurance. Insurance is something that you have to qualify for, and it's easiest to qualify while you're young and healthy. So it's best that you start today, get a policy for yourself personally, just so that you know you're protected. And then if your job wants to give you extra insurance, sure, take it. But at least you know if stuff hits the fan, your family is covered.
Miss Peggy, same question.
Well, I think same answer. So insurance through work is what she said. It's, you don't control it. It's, that's your employer's plan, right? So, and most people, when I was her age, I was told you would change jobs at least 4 times in your career. Now for her age, they saying you could change jobs 7 times in your career, right? Most people are only for their employer for a short bit of time. So you need something that is yours. It doesn't matter who you work for. Like she said, even if you think you're going to be there a long time, things happen, you know. And here's the most important thing, and this goes for insurance and for 401k plans through your employer. It is so difficult to get personalized attention and customer care when you're on an employer plan. These employer plans have hundreds and thousands of people, right, plugged into them. You got to call the 800 number. You don't know who you're talking to. They don't know you. They're not working with you on your personal plans and your goals outside of your career. And so you get what you pay for. And in this case, not much, right? And many times when I'm trying to help someone, true story, you know, I tell them, okay, go and check with your employer and find out this or that about your plan. And you know what they tell me? Oh, I couldn't get through to them. This happened, that happened. And I said, okay, this is great. If you're having such a hard time getting information about your own plan, what happens when something happens to you and your spouse or your children are trying to get information? They're going to have an even harder time, right? So if they're treating you like a small something and you work there now, just imagine when you leave, they're going to think of you even less, and they're going to treat your family even less. So again, those things are great to take advantage of, but they cannot be your only financial plan.
Right.
You need some financial coaching, and you need some someone to work with you personal, where you get better customer care.
Our third trivia here is, it's better to start investing when you have a large sum of money. Start with first, Tia.
Well, I like to. Well, simple answer is no again. While large lump sums are good, there's something called dollar cost averaging, and when you go in, when you start small and slow and steady wins the race in this case. So when the market it goes up and down. When the market is down, a lot of people panic. They say, "Oh my gosh, the sky is falling. Let me take my money out." But what they don't realize is the stocks are actually on sale. So when the price drops, you get more shares for less money. If you wait for when you have a lump sum, there's no telling if the market is up or down. So now you might be missing out. Like you might be buying the stock at a higher price when if you just did it consistently, you might have been able to have a more lump sum at the end. So it's more so about having guidance and a plan. Don't just throw your money in the market willy-nilly.
And if you go alone, you go very fast at breakneck speed. And you go with others, you go very far. And it's less on the number line when you have a large sum of money that you want to invest and want all for yourself. It's finding that trusted partner and roll with that business partner. Miss Peggy, same question.
So I know why a lot of people might feel that way, because I know some brokers and some financial advisors that they really can't help people unless you have a certain amount of money, because they're it's just not worth their time. So many people have told me, too, true story. I meet with people and they say, "Oh wow, we went to the bank or we went to this other company, I'll remain nameless, and they told us we had to have 25,000 in order to invest with them." So little did they know, right? They don't teach them about dollar cost averaging in those brokerage houses, right? And also, you can start with 1,000. You can start with 500, right? What did I say? The important thing is that you start. So if you're saving your money at 0.1%, waiting to get to 25,000 so you can take advantage of the market, you have a long wait.
Right. What if you never.
So, yeah.
Our fourth question, Tia. Social Security will offset my costs, so I'm good.
Well, I'm 25 years old. I'll be blessed and grateful if Social Security is around by the time I come to retirement age. Honestly, pensions are really not a thing, and Social Security, I don't really trust that it's going to be there. So if I get the money, yes, but for me to depend on it when laws and systems are ever changing, we have so much more time to go. It's like, God forbid if they were to take it away, or they keep on raising the age. Before it was 65, I believe now it's 72 or something along those lines. So God forbid if they say it's 85, are you willing to work into your 85? I know I'm not. So yeah.
Miss Peggy, same question.
So, piggybacking off of what she said, I remember when I was in elementary school and my teachers were telling me then Social Security was not going to be around very long. But and what really happened was that the Social Security amount of money just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And like she said, they keep pushing out the age where you can get it further and further away. So it didn't go away. They're just basically stringing us along and thinking that, this money is going to be able to do something. Maybe it can help out, but by the time she retires, I don't know if that's going to help put a gas in the car. Because
Especially with inflation.
It's definitely not going to be enough to pay any rent or anything like that, right? So, again, we teach financial literacy and financial independence. And if you want to be financially independent, that means great. Just like the life insurance, if your boss is giving it away, great. The Social Security, we actually pay into it. But if you get it, great. But let's plan on not getting it and make sure you're going to be financially independent no matter what the federal government decides to do, because they change their mind every single day.
And they're saying sometimes the more better the healthcare plan has come around to be great success story, is longer, they're going to push the retirement age for you to have full benefit. And you work that hard and they get early retirement, therefore the less you will have. Stretch it out, God knows if you will live that long. And then you recognize that inflation has been going up and it's a thing. Another time we're going to talk about the impact of tariff to the consumer and the impact of tariff to a country. We are celebrating the tariff that we think is coming to our treasury. Who's paying for the tariff? It's going to be you, it's going to be me, and it's going to be everyone, because tariff affects the consumer. I remember when tariff came, the last prior regime, washing machine price went up because we put tariff on import of washing machine. So you have to make sure that you understand your financial literacy and you can have financial integrity. Our fifth question, I cannot afford to invest right now. I already don't have enough money. Still?
I guess my simple answer to that would be you can't afford not to. Because if you don't have enough money now while you're able to work, imagine when you are ready to retire and slow down, how much less money you will have. So you're going to have to make it work, whether that's finding an opportunity where you can earn extra income or lessening those expenses and, making some adjustments.
Yes, it all comes down to priorities, right? You think you don't have money to invest because maybe you don't understand the value. I heard you say earlier, value, value, value. Maybe you don't understand the value in even what your little investment today, your seed that grows in today will grow for later on, So that's just a lack of knowledge. You can afford to invest. In fact, this is a common question I ask everybody when I meet with them. I said, all right, we talk about investing $10,000 and what it will grow. And most people don't have $10,000 just hanging around to invest, just like most people don't have $25,000 to invest with those other brokerage houses. But I ask, do most people waste $6 or $7 a day? And you know what they tell me? Yes.
More than that, probably.
And some people say more than that, more than $6 or $7. They raced. They'll go to Dunkin' Donuts a couple times a day. They'll buy this, they'll buy that, So guess what that is? $6 or $7 a day is $200 a month. You're telling me you can't invest $200 a month, but you can waste $6 or $7 a day?
It's a thought process.
And I love the concept. When I look at this, I cannot afford to invest right now. I already have enough money. You can buy a corporation, and even though you have the money to invest, the duration of having a corporation is an investment in itself, because it shows that you have it for a long time. They will not ask you the activity, but the duration. They show you how long you have incorporated, so that shows that in sustainability of having it. It's an investment, but having the direct, we talk about a vision board. So you can have a vision board, but how do you get in this vision? Get your LLC, get your name, get your tax ID, and you're well on your way. Money is going to come. God works with what you have.
Amen.
Number 6 for our trivia. If I am older, I am too far gone.
You can do that.
Is it too late to start? If I am older. I laugh. It came back to synergy is a very funny way of presentation, because sometimes you go from the back end right back to the front end. And we talk about when the word of God says, serve the Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not and the year draw nigh. How much God is so much focused and fixated on the youthful part of humanity, because there's so much. I remember I get saved at 16 and throw into leadership thereafter at 17. I could preach 50 messages. I'll tell you, I used to move around, agile as a monkey. But now I'm not 16. I can pretend message a day, and it's reality. I'm very much still young. I ain't 50 yet. So am I old? Older? Am I too far gone? Is it too late to start?
What you say, my
Yeah, let me start with you tonight. I'm
it,
answering this.
it it's never too late to start, right? However, you have to also realize that it's not a magician, right? It's more, retirement is a number, not an age, right? So it's never too late to start. We got to start, but now we have to also think about where we're going, right? And so one of the things that really that same thing I told you to look up, that rule of 72, that really kind of jarred me, because I really saw that it takes time, right, to grow your money. So a lot of people wait till they're older, and they're like, well, you know, here's $1,000. Can you make it 1 million by,
Next
5 years?
year.
It's like, well, that's a magician. Now you want to go to, that's casino, right? You go try your luck over there, right? Or that's you're gonna try to find that hot stock, which is still not guaranteed, right? So a lot of people, they procrastinate and they wait and they think, okay, let me see if I could time the market. Let me see if I could find that one hot stock or that casino. Let me see if I could go to the casino and get that one break and turn my little bit into a lot overnight. So no, you're not too far gone, but we also have to have a reality check and understand that you can't expect to grow that mustard seed in an hour or a week or a year, when it really is going to take 10 years or 20 years.
And that comes to what we say, you have to have a strategic plan. You have to plan strategically. And we look at God being the greatest strategist of all time,
Mhm.
because he knows that he don't want us to have a blueprint of a model that will not work. That's why he started first himself. Then he went to three, start very much small in Lucius. And then in nucleus grows, then he get to 12. Then he went to 120. Then he went to 5,000. Then after that, we don't hear numbers anymore. We talk about multitude. And you should have a generational legacy mindset, even though age is not on your side. But you can find a way that you can play an integral part in bringing your generational together and let them run with what you was envisioned before. And that comes back to, you can start a cooperation and let the longevity run out. You may not have the money to invest, but son, daughter, look, this work and something. There is a story I stumbled upon, I think it's 2022, 2023, somewhere there, about this father gave to his daughter a watch that was handed down to him by his father. The watch was so scratched up, so beat up, and she, why are you giving me this? It's no good. You tell her to take it to the pawn shop, different places, to get the value. And the value keep increasing, but at a very slow pace. When you tell her to go to the right place, she could not have understand that the value of that watch bought her a car, pay for her apartment, pay for her schooling. That's what we use in terms of generational legacy. She could start with an investment because that antique watch was garnering value.
Mhm.
So if you don't have money, start a corporation, put it down there. The little bit you can pay is the government taxes. And I can tell you frontally, your LLC is only $50 a year. You eat more than $50 a week.
Yep.
So they look at you have an LLC, 50 years. The bank recognize that you are a sustainable mindset. Right there, they want to talk to you. Then they may say, let's talk how many employees you have. Well, the rest is up to you. I'm not going to tell you what to say. For 15 years, and they're able to do business with you. So you can start well on your generational legacy. So with that being said, Miss Spiky and Theo, for adults, anyone listening today who feel like they're just starting their financial journey, What one simple actionable step they can take today to improve their situation? Give them some baby steps that they can begin to start seeing those footprints in the sand. First, with a change mindset. Who want to go first?
Well, I'll start off by saying conditioning your mind. So I know my mom mentioned some books earlier. One book that changed the way I view success and money is Secrets to the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eckert. But just engulfing yourself in some literature so that way you're conditioning your mind. On top of that, book a consultation. Shameless plug, my mom is an investment advisor. Book a consultation with my mother. But if not, find somebody that has the knowledge and tools and just get some more information about some investments and see. I'll let you speak more details because I know you're the licensed person, but yeah.
So to add to that, earlier I also said you got to take inventory of where you are, right? So step number one, this is a perfect time. Everybody's making their New Year's resolution. They're doing their vision board party. As you said, we're going to have one in our office too. I already started. I was in my financial program and I was looking at my expenses and what's changing. See, because inflation, everything says it's going to go up, right? They already talk about tariffs. Things are going to go up, right? So I have one column of what it is now and what I expect it to be and where I'm going to need to make adjustments and what I need to cut the fat. Right? Is this a membership that I'm not really using? Let's cut it out. Is this something that I don't really need right now? Let's cut it out. Because I know now I'm going to need more money over here in this other column. Right? And so you got to take an inventory of where you are. One of the biggest mistakes that I made when I was younger, when I was her age, is I didn't want to think about it. I didn't want to look at it. I knew I wasn't making much money or I didn't have the money to pay the bills. Sometimes I didn't even open the envelopes because I was like, I can't pay it, so I'm not going to look at it. Biggest mistake. Now I look at everything. I scrutinize everything. I notice everything because things sometimes can be very sneaky and they raise your interest rate up. You don't even know it. If you don't call and ask them, hey, why did you raise my interest rate? What's going on here? Or they charge you a little charge for this or that and you don't even know it. One time I got a check in the mail from a class action suit talking about somebody had taken money out of my account 6 times and they were giving me the money back and I didn't even know that they took the money because I wasn't paying attention. Thank goodness somebody else was looking out for me, right? And I found out about it and I was scared to cash the check. I went to the bank and I said, is this true? And the lady looked and she said, oh yeah, you had that come out of your account, but I didn't know. So don't put your blinders on, right? Don't be ignorant to what's going on. Even if you think you don't have the money, take inventory of where you are and start making those small steps. Cut the fat, prepare for your whatever is going to increase, and make sure, besides your tithing, to pay yourself first.
And tithing is a principle and it's not a law. Because people are holding on to biblical law because it's in the Old Testament and it's not in the New Testament. So people feel they should stop tithing. Miss Peggy and I, Theo and I tonight, we have a great commonality and a great success story that as we keep the principle of tithing, we never see a day of being financially embarrassed. We didn't say we won't run down. We're going to run down because if you keep spending, you get $100, it's no longer $100, just running down. But the difficult thing that people will not understand, you will not run out because you keep the principle. There's a principle God keep to us that, you know what, they're going to be seed time and harvest. They're going to be rain and sunshine.
I was about to say.
So understand, keep that principle. Tithing is a must.
The principle of sowing and reaping, which is the same thing what we're talking about, right? Preparing for that next season. There's a season to plant, the season to invest, and then there's the season to reap. So you're right. It's not a law. It's a principle. and you can't break the principle, whether you know it or not. And someone might be sitting here and say, well, I don't have a church, maybe. I don't go to church. So tithe into something, right? That's going to bring you seed. That's going to bring you growth.
I love when you say that, because there's a question, and it's a part of the lexicon of most of the younger, trending teenager, Gen Z's millennial lexicon, that why the church seems to be the poorest of the sect of believing in God more so the others, right? And they calculate the tithing and so on, and this kind of stuff. And I try to tell them to understand is that the ungodly, God acknowledges that they will be wealthy, because he said they, as we said in the preambles, they is going to bring, a man can't bring what he don't have. The wealth of the wicked is coming to us, the ungodly, bringing their wealth to us who are just, who are spiritually smart and spiritual savvy. They're coming with what they have. Why do they have it though? That the young people are asking, that it's trending, is because they keep the principle. While we are fighting about the law, God suspend the law for his principle. Oh my God. The reason why Peter walked on water, God suspend his law. He didn't do away with it. He didn't break it. He suspend his law of gravity for Peter to walk on water, so that the principle of his sustenance can be seen. So when you give, God will sustain the principle of the weapon that form against you to take away your money, to keep you from prosper. That the principle of you prosper will always be present. Tonight, I want to thank you so much. Miss Peggy, I want to thank you to you, and I want you to know Miss Peggy is also an ordained minister. She spends so much spirit in the ministry of serving and the ministry of leadership, and that's why we could play it into financial literacy, financial integrity, match it with the word of God and Bible integrity, and that's why tonight it was well received. And I want you to know that tonight can be the beginning of a great journey for you tonight. The decision is with you to understand that you can be the best version of who you choose to be, or continue to walk in dull hearing. As many may say, this is me, you can't change me, I'm gonna die so. But there is always, I'm preparing to preach tomorrow, and my closing remarks, I'm gonna leave for those who may not be in church tomorrow. The closing remarks, I'm gonna be this, and I'm asking my closing remarks tonight to anyone here. There's always somebody is counting on you. So if you're gonna die, sir, somebody gonna die the way you prepare to die, because they're counting on you to die in poverty. If you die illiterate, somebody is counting on you gonna die in illiteracy. There's somebody following you. Where are you leading them? Miss Peggy, your daughter is following you. Where are you leading her? And I'm going to ask, and I'm going to answer for you, because I listened tonight. You're leading her to be financially literate, to walk in financial integrity. So tonight, the question is asked from hereafter, who want to prepare for the seat at the table of financial opportunity in the life of January? Or are we going to put on dull hearing, Brahman chapter 1, verse 1? January is a hard month, grandson. January is a hard month, son. It's a hard month, daughter. It's a hard month. But look, you didn't need to throw that furniture. You didn't really need a new car. You really need to give gifts to some people who don't care about you. It sounds hard. And the opportunity presents itself and you're crying. calling, fasting, and praying, and God is saying, fast and pray to bond the bonds of wickedness and to undo every burden, the burden that you cause upon yourself. Miss Peggy, tell us tonight. I know you are author of a book. Tell us about the book, the name of the book, where we can find the book, and so on and such like, and what can readers expect?
So, I am the co author of a book called Elevate and Empower. This is what the cover looks like. And it's a book that has insights on personal growth, resilience, and transformation. And in this book, I tell a story. Well, it's not a story, but I share a true life experience of something that my daughter and I went through, a time in her life. And it was a very big challenge. It was a spiritual challenge, it was an emotional challenge, but it was also a financial challenge. And because of the principles and the things that we've been talking about tonight, I was able to walk through that challenge and come out standing, right? There's some times in your life where you just don't know. And was that footprints poem, when God was carrying you, only see one set of footprints because God was carrying you. Well, he carried us through a very tough and difficult trial. And I share that in there, but I share that the resilience, right? The resilience of, the power of faith and what God did when he brought us out of that and brought us into a new season. But there's some other authors in this book that also share some very insightful personal stories and really good tips. So not all of financial, but about, how you can be better, in life. And so I recommend the book. It's available on Amazon. It was actually an Amazon bestseller when it first came out. You can get the Kindle on Amazon and you can order it through Amazon. And the best part about it is that the 100% of the proceeds of this collaboration is going to charity. So when you buy the book, you're also helping the community. The charity that we're giving to is to help people that are being trafficked. So it's going to, help with getting rid of that, right? Mitigating that, people being trafficked. And so, yeah, that's about the book. And why I always wanted, writing is one of my passions. And I always wanted to publish. And when I had the opportunity to collab on this assignment, I wanted to use this as a way of sharing something that was deep, that was deep in me. And, when you get to bring that out, right, it's kind of a way of healing process, right? So I had to let it out. So part of the healing process, but also so people could understand it doesn't matter what you're going through, what you've been through, what you're about to go through, right? As long as you have faith and you just keep walking and you stand on those principles, some of the ones we've been talking about, you're going to come out on the other side.
Awesome, Miss Peggy. And Tia, I want to thank you tonight for taking time off of your busy schedule, more so in this Christmas season when we all are in the festiveness of trying to make an impression into the lives of who may be our guests, our invitee to our home or our edifice or our great mansion or estate, to come tonight onto this platform that someone can start championing a new course of their life. I believe you change one tree, you change the entire forest. Tonight, you made impact at least in one tree, and that one tree will generate into an entire forest. God said his only begotten son, and he gathered many sons. Therefore, the power of one is very much important. So tonight you hear how you can therefore walk in financial integrity, overcoming financial shame, overcoming financially embarrassment. With that being said, Miss Peggy and Tia, I would like to solicit you guys in the fourth Saturday again of January to be with me again, where we can able to chop it up, we can able to work in tandem, we can able to be in sync, we can able to work hand in glove to get through to that one tree that will represent the entire forest. This message should be preached to all generations. And they shall
Thank
be.
you for the invitation, Pastor.
thank you
I was
so
just
much.
peeking at my calendar because I was like, oh, I know we're going to be away at the end of January. So we might have to choose a different date. But I would love to come back. And I want to make sure that your followers have access to us. I believe Theo sent you something. If you can share that on your Facebook, or for everybody that was on this call, this live, we would love to give away a free financial literacy workbook that has some of the things that we talked about, as well as if you're interested in reading the chapter of my book, I can even include a copy of the chapter of my book. Just send us your email, your information, and we would love to converse with you. And if you like the shameless plug my daughter gave, if you'd like to set up a free consultation, we could do that too.
I love the shameless plug. I heard it before. I was trying to think in my mind where I heard of the shameless plug before. I love the catchphrase. But with that being said, wherever you are, if you're an owner of a podcast or you're owner of a live stream, I would like you to reach out to Miss Peggy, because I believe that we as a community, we as a tribe, and we as a village, we need to be financially free. We need to come out from where we are, the shadows, and start making generational legacy. Let me stop feeling that everyone should bring food for us like the raven. We shouldn't be feeding the raven. But because God wants to show a precedent that you can't even feed yourself up and send a raven. You don't see bird feeding people. Bird don't have hands. How can bird feed me? I'm not crippled. But let's able now to help our society, our tribe, and our village, that they can able to understand we can able to feed each other, and looking for a raven to come and feed us. The raven is not coming anymore because we're not in a flood. Manna is not falling anymore because God has given us the tools after the manna days is ended. So if you have a platform, you have a podcast, whatever, I'll open, because this is not the competition zone. This is a complementary zone. You're not I'm the wrong guy. I don't compete. So we are here for our expertise to enhance and to broaden the spectrum of our tribe. And those who are very much intellectual savvy understand some of what I'm saying, what I'm not saying. So I want you to understand that you can reach out to them and solicit the expertise, and we can be able to grow and be financially viable, and we can be able to be financially sustainable, and we can be a catch pan for those who are in dollar hearing, that they can retrain themselves and on to a charter their own course and change their generation. Once again, thank you, Tribe Community and Village. See you tomorrow night, same place, with our Conversation Motivational Date Night with yours truly, SGGR Seon Rodney, alongside Apostle JD Prasad. Our topic tomorrow night going to be, are you a flipper or are you a flapper? With that being said, have a great night. Compete with no one else than with yourself to be the best version of who God has called you to be. Miss Peggy, just 2 seconds backstage just to end this podcast.
Okay. All right. What happened with you?
You're funny. You said something.